Hi everyone, Caitlin here. Just for a quick update, I am just lounging in bed at the moment. Um, we had quite a long night last night. Um, I started having pretty heavy bleeding. It was right before we were getting ready to put Grace into bed, and I had some pretty heavy bleeding starting about 8 p.m. like I said, and I passed a small clot, and it was about the size of a dime, and of course, like the doctor tells you not to worry about bleeding or, um, and a lot of you ladies on here say, stop stressing out. When you have that, it is absolutely impossible to not stress out and not get instantly concerned and nervous and scared that you're losing your child. And at my last doctor's appointment that I had on this past Wednesday, um, I asked, well, they told me to expect some spotting is normal with the diagnoses that I have. And I asked, okay, so when should I call? And they said if you are bleeding enough to soak through a pad or if you are passing any clots to go ahead and call. And so I was doing both of that. I did not have a pad on at the time, but I mean, it wasn't just spotting. I mean, it was pretty heavy flow. Like I would soak through all the toilet paper when I would wipe. And I sat there for like probably a good 10 minutes and it was just constantly coming. Um, and then, like I said, I did pass that small clot. So, um, hubby and we got Grayson to my mom's house and we went to the ER. The doctor, of course, who was on call was not my OB. And I don't even remember the guy's name. I've never actually heard of him before. And I gave him a brief history of, my pregnancies and whatnot. And I explained, like, my history of this pregnancy and, um, basically everything that my doctor has told me. And he told me to call if I had the heavy bleeding or passing clots, whatnot. So he said, well, I definitely want you to go to the ER to get checked out, just to make sure that everything is going okay, and then to follow up with your OB next week. So, and of course, this was a Saturday night. It seems like something always happens or goes wrong. Last week it was at the end of the workday, like 5 o'clock, as soon as the offices were closing, and then, or on the weekends when they're not open. So that's stressful because I can't just go to the office. I have to go to the ER to get checked out, which, I'm fine with because just to check on the baby, it's good for peace of mind. So I go to the ER and they do start by, I did not have to wait this time. I was in the waiting room for maybe like 5 minutes. They were not busy at all. And they got me back in and they started with the pelvic, and he did say that obviously he saw the bleeding and everything, but he said that it looked like it was stopping because it was starting to turn that like old blood brown color. So that's good. And also while he did that check, he did say that my cervix was closed. So, then I went in then they did the blood work and everything, and my HCG level came back, which it kind of makes me nervous, the level that it's at right now. Last Saturday, so 7 days ago, it was about 80, I think like 83,000-ish, and last night it was only 97,000-ish. So it didn't double, it rose, but it didn't do much of, heck, it didn't even go up by like a fourth of the number. But I know at this stage in pregnancy, they say don't worry about your HCG level because at a certain level, your numbers will start to plateau. So I am just assuming that my numbers are just starting to plateau at where I am. They're still within the range that I'm supposed to be at. So they were 97,400. So they're still within the level. They're just not, I don't know. It's not the greatest from last week, but I'm still hopefully just plateauing and everything is going good there. They took me back for an ultrasound as well. Now, as I'm talking about all this, I did not have a wait to get back into the ER, but the waiting game for everything to happen back in the ER was ridiculous. Like, there were not very many people there, and the amount of waiting that we had was crazy. So, we got back to the ultrasound. My husband was able to come back with me, and of course they do the measurements and everything real fast, and the lady that did it, she was actually really sweet. And I said, can you please just tell me if there's a heartbeat? And she goes, I'm not supposed to tell you this. I'm just supposed to give all of my findings to the doctor and let him, tell everything. But there is a heartbeat. And she turned the screen real fast for me to see it. And she goes, there is a heartbeat. So hopefully that eases your mind. And she pulled up my previous scan that I had the week before where they caught the subchorionic bleed, because she wanted to compare it, and she did say that my subchorionic bleed had not changed. It wasn't any bigger, it wasn't any smaller, and that it was still there. And when she was all done with the ultrasound, she smiled at me and she said, I'm happy with this. And I said, okay, so I shouldn't be concerned. And she goes, I'm happy with this. So that eased my mind, and so we got back into my emergency room, my room in the emergency room, and it took forever and ever and ever, but finally we got the news that obviously the baby was good. The heart rate was 175 in the ultrasound. They assumed the bleeding was just due to the subchorionic hemorrhage that I have, same as last week, like a repeat. It was just more. And but they did say one thing that kind of concerned me, that in the ultrasound the baby only measured at 8 weeks one day, which I don't understand how that could be. I'm supposed to be, yesterday at the ER I was 8 weeks 3 days pregnant, and just this past Wednesday at my OB, the ultrasound that they had to do there because of my bleeding, the ultrasound tech measured the baby at 8 weeks 3 days. And then they were saying 8 weeks, 1 day at the ER. So the baby shrunk. Like, doesn't make sense. So, and I know that everybody measures differently. So that's just what I'm basing that off of. It's still within like the 7-day window of the measuring that they always tell you for fetal measurement. So I am just going to base that everything is still going okay with baby based on the heart rate of 175. And obviously still on bed rest, and I am just trying my hardest to stay positive, just trying to be stress-free. It's very, very hard to do when you do have bleeding scares like that. And it's actually funny because I don't remember this, but my mom actually looked it up. I know if you've watched my vlogs before, you know that we do keep a baby blog for Grayson. And we were looking back, my mom was looking back at her baby vlog, and at the exact day, at 8 weeks, 3 days pregnant with Grayson, I had the exact same bleeding scare with her, with cramping, passing clots, heavy bleeding. I thought for sure that I was miscarrying. So it is mirroring Grayson's pregnancy like to the exact day, which is craziness. So, but just wanted to give you guys a quick update, and I will update you guys again hopefully with my 9-week update this Wednesday. See you later. Bye.